chosen a day, Paul, because the temperatures today are the hottest I can ever recall for a Kelloggs stage.
Well, it is very hot today. We can see the field now climbing up Berry Hill just behind Dominique Gard. There's the time check. In fact, the time's going up 5 minutes and 9 seconds. So Dominique Gard has obviously decided he's going to go for it today. There's a long way to go, but he really is piling on the pressure.
And this is quite a steep climb. This is Keith Reynolds on the left, and also Rolf Jarman, the champion of Switzerland, in the red jersey. Challenging him on the right is Joseph Holtzmann. Remember that Gard has got the major points at the front. They're spinning out for the minor points for the King of the Mountains. And Robert Miller is the rider in third place, the leader of the mountains. Only fourth for Robert Miller. Here's confirmation: Gard, Holtzmann, Jarman and Miller over the top of Berry Hill. So over the top, here's confirmation for rider number 6. 3 minutes 30 seconds now, his lead over the field, and 45 miles covered of the day's stage. There's where we are, right on top of the Forest of Dean. Shortly the long descent down towards Gloucester. So the hard bit of riding is soon to be over for him, Paul.
Well, it is. If he can get over the top of the next climb and onto the valley, he's got a little bit of a time where he can rest and recuperate on the flat section. And hopefully the rest of the group behind, they won't chase him and he'll be able to carry on and build his lead up again.
So more points in the bag for Dominique Gard. So his race today from the main field, not really in vain. He's winning prizes all the way along the route. But there's definitely now a reaction from the main field. This is the second climb in the forest, and look at this. The field now beginning to split up on the way up the climb of Baker Hill. This reaction coming a little bit earlier than I anticipated. I thought they'd let him fry out there for a while.
Well, it is a long way to go. There's still 60 miles to go from the top of this climb, and I'm surprised that there has been such a reaction. This is Rob Holden from the Banana Falcon team on the front of the group here, piling on the pressure. Rob's a very good rider. He's ridden very well in the Kellogg's Tour in previous years, and that looks as if it's Laurent Jalabert with him. He's in the red jersey at the moment. That's the rider of the jersey for the leading young riders.
So Rob Holden, the new British Circuit race champion, and a well-deserved title too, because he's had a tremendous season. Second in the milk race this year behind his teammate Shane Sutton. And now just pipped on the line there, possibly by Laurent Jalabert over the top. Let's have a look. Yes, Gard, Jalabert, Holden and Holtzmann at the top of Baker's Hill. Now, the field are still closing in on Dominique Gard. Chance of a breather perhaps on the way down now, because he's over the hills for the moment at least. But they're coming back pretty quickly, Paul. 1 minute 52, so quite clearly they're anxious to put him back in the pack. Well, there must have been some reaction there in the group, because that gap really has come down. But here's the rest of the field coming back into contention now. There's a small group here, Paul.
There's been a split over the top of the climb. You can see the rest of the field in the back there, but there's obviously been quite a difficult ascent there, and the riders here going clear. So Gard is going to have company if this pressure keeps up. He's now down to 52 seconds, and this group is chasing very, very hard indeed. Well, there's Robert Miller wearing his unusual polka dot jersey as leader of the King of the Mountains in this race. And Stephen Roach on the far side, so he's come up to the front as well. This is a good move. Number 1, last year's winner, Robert Miller, and anxious to break the field here. So Roach is there. And it looks to me, Paul, as though Malcolm Elliott, the race leader, has allowed this break to develop. I'm surprised. It's very surprising that Malcolm's let this go away, because he's in good form at the moment, and he should really have slipped into a move like this over the top of the climb. So here's Dominique Gard, and this group is now coming up, and there's no sign of the main field. This is a very, very dangerous move indeed. Stephen Roach is here. Phil Anderson is up here too, and Phil Anderson is a potential winner of this race. Laurent Jalabert is here in the red jersey, there he is. And Patrick Robit is the rider just behind him. Stephen Roach we've seen, Miller is here, Gard is obviously here. So this is a very, very good move indeed, and I'm very surprised that Malcolm Elliott hasn't marked this attack. Well, there's some very good riders here. At the main field you can see the chase is being organised by the Tecker team for Malcolm Elliott. They won't want this break to move away, because they've got some very good riders in that breakaway. There's Phil Anderson in there as well, Stephen Roach, Robert Miller. So really we want to see the Tecker team chasing this group down. You've got Malcolm Elliott has got all his team at the front, and also here we've got the Class team, again another team from Spain. They're trying to protect Echave. Well, let's go back to the leading group, because here we are now in the centre of Gloucester, and the gap is now 1 minute and 6 seconds as the TV time sprint is taken by Gard. Little surprise there, because he was getting tired. Anderson through in second place.
It's still the Tecker team who are having to lead the charge here. They're quite clearly, and well, they might be concerned by the fact that Roach, Miller and Anderson have managed to slip them. And the class team are working too, because they are concerned with their leader, which is Echevet. And the Lotto team too, Paul. Now, why are they up here?
Well, I think they'll probably be working because let's not forget Sammy Morrell's is second overall at the moment, and he does have the points jersey, so he's that's why the Lotto team are in there helping these other teams. It's a very difficult race to control as well. There are only 5-man teams, so it's good to see that there are 2 or 3 teams who have decided that they want to try and pull this breakaway back, because it's a very dangerous breakaway group.
Well, there's Bernardo Mazon Blanco, a member of Malcolm Elliott's Tecker team, driving along here. Now it must be strange for all the Spanish riders having to work for an Englishman on English roads. But the pace is high, and this chase has been going on now for 20 miles, and the time gap is beginning to fall. Let's have a look what it is. Well, they're down to just 20 seconds, so they've come back from about 1 minute 8 seconds, I think, the maximum we've been reported for this gap. It's now down to 20 seconds, so they're coming back. So the teams are working well.
Well, this will be good morale for the riders in this group, because they've been chasing for some 20 miles, and they'll have the breakaway group in their sights now, so it won't be very long before, well, there they are. In fact, they've just brought the breakaway group back.
Well, Miller is still not in that group, because this group looks to me as though it's split up. Roach has certainly come back, Anderson too. Robert Miller must have tried to nip away from this group as they were being caught. We're approaching the feeding station now, so around 71 miles covered, and that breakaway has been away since the 48-mile point. So this has been a long, hard and very hot chase indeed. And there's Miller, so they picked Miller up as well, so the Tecker team will ease up now. They've captured the men they wanted. We're now in the centre of the city of Worcester. The next big sprint here for the TV Times Award. Remember, this is added on every day for the points, and it is the leader of the competition, Dave Mann, who gets the 5 points this time through. So that's going to keep him in the white jersey tonight. Dave Mann then scores. Roscioli is second, and Chris Lillywhite takes 3rd place. Well, there's been an immediate attack. 3 riders are clear. Franco Coccioli, Kurt Steinman and Andrea Taffy have gone clear of the field, with Birmingham the next stop. So join us right after the break.
Welcome back. This is the finish line at New Street, Birmingham, in roasting sunshine, as you can see. It's 123 miles and 5.5 hours cycling from this morning's start. It's an astonishing achievement by man and machine. And we're going to take you for a rare glimpse behind the scenes of the preparations.
At Cardiff's rush hour this morning, the 22 teams had already been up and working for 3 hours. Support crews mixing the cocktail of vitamins, minerals and proteins for the drinks bottles. Each cyclist will get through more than 4 litres in a race. The mechanics have 5 race bikes, 2 spares and more than 20 reserve wheels to prepare.
That means brand new tyres. If there's any cuts in the tyres, we've got to put a new tyre on. The gears work, and generally everything is in first class working order.
For the cyclists in the final few minutes before the off, it's time for a last snack and drink. Some psych themselves up, others are relaxed enough to give interviews, or like Joey McLaughlin, share a joke.
Just a short time now before you start racing. How do you feel at this stage?
Well, at this stage, like, the nearer we get to the start, the butterflies start flying even more. You're like, when you wake up in the morning, you're not really too excited about the race, because you're getting out of bed and you still haven't realised what's in store for you. But then when you start looking through the road book and you start looking at the map and you look at this kind of thing here and you see, well, there's one climb here and there's another climb here to finish, then you start getting into your mind, then what's ahead of you.
When you consider they've been cycling today in scorching temperatures, you'll understand that those cyclists are amongst the fittest sportsmen in the world. We're getting word now that they're close to Birmingham city centre. They've got 4 laps to do here, and so we'll return right away to the action and Phil.
Thank you, Chris, and let's catch up straight away with the final TV Time sprint. Here it is at Bromsgrove. Coccioli was the winner there. Steinman was in 2nd place, and in 3rd place was Taffy. The same 3 men who broke clear coming out of Worcester, and now we are entering Birmingham city centre and the finishing circuit where the riders face 4 full circuits of the city centre. And these 3 riders, Paul, have built a lead of over 2 minutes, but it's now come down to about 1.5.
Well, it's coming down rapidly now as the teams are starting to chase quite a lot behind, but they made a brilliant move, these riders, because it's been very hard all day. There have been teams chasing to bring back breakaways. It's been very hot, and that's why these 3 have managed to slip away from the field. But it waits to be seen whether they can stay away, because they've built up a maximum lead of over 2.5 minutes. But as you say, it is coming down very rapidly. Here's Goccioli on the front now. He stands up to gain the best here. He could put the yellow jersey on.
Well, he's lying 35th this morning, but more importantly than his position, he's only 52 seconds behind Malcolm Elliott. And the latest information we have, the breakaway group here is 1 minute and 20 seconds in front. So Goccioli has a real chance now of finishing this race in the race lead tonight as we go off down towards New Street, and the 3 riders heading off for the first of 4 full circuits. So they've been away since Worcester. It's been a long break, and this looks like Soren Lilholt, who's gone clear. Well, he's only just gone clear. He must have broken away in the streets of the city of Birmingham. Former junior world champion, and a rider who specialises in the lone escape, and very good at it he is too. That's Rob Holden going too. And it looks like Roscioli, the teammate of Goccioli, who's sitting on the front of the bunch, trying to deter too many people sprinting off.
Well, he is, and also at the front of the bunch there was Robert Miller and Stephen Roach, not too far away. Here you can see Rob Holden jumping across as well, trying to get up to Soren Lilholt, but Lilholt really was storming away there. Here we've got a good shot of Lilholt coming into the corner.
And here's the field now. They have 4 full circuits to go in leaders, and the official gap is 1 minute. So Paul Goccioli is still in with a chance of this leader's yellow jersey, and Malcolm Elliott trapped in the main field.
Yes, but I'm sure that the bunch will speed up now, and it may well be that they'll call, because there we've got Goccioli on the front trying to force the group away, trying to keep those valuable seconds, so he could be the first Italian to put on the yellow jersey in the Kelloggs Tour, but the group is still together.
Well, he's doing all the work, of course, because he knows what he has to gain here in Birmingham. And Taffy and Steinman are willing to let him do it because they're thinking more of the stage victory here. There's Taffy in second place. We are now 2 laps from the finish. The gap is coming down. The gap, in fact, now is down to 40 seconds with Lilholt hot in pursuit. The main field have not picked him up. And just look at this sign of the heat today. In fact, these riders were calling for water over their heads halfway through the stage today. It's been so hot. And because of the drought, nobody along the route could supply them with any. So here's Lilholt, and he's still going very, very strongly indeed, Paul, but he's caught in no man's land.
Well, Lilholt is in between the 2 there. You can just see the bunch at the back there. There's Lilholt. He's got 2 laps to go, but he really is storming. It looks as if there's another break just materialising behind Lilholt as well. But Lilholt is making a storming ride to come back to the front here as Goccioli goes through to the front again with Steinman there in second place.
Well, heading round the back of the circuit, this is Corporation Street in the city, and we've got the same 3 riders out in front since Worcestershire. 82 at the back is Taffy, in the middle is Steinman. Goccioli is determined to make all of the running here because the chance he could pick up the leader's yellow jersey, although that chance, I must say, is now slipping away. Soren Lilholt, who's dangling just behind with the main field, and it seems, as Paul Sherwin says, there seems to be a group forming, and in that group I think is Maurizio Fondriest, and here is Goccioli. So Goccioli still heads down towards the finish. It'll be the bell this time through for him, and he's still doing all of the work, as he has done all of the time since he came onto this circuit in the city centre.
Well, they do seem to be losing a little bit of their impetus now. There we've got a little attack going from the right-hand side, and it's Taffy just really trying to see what's happening there, looking back to see if anybody's reacted, and sitting back down and probably getting back into the rhythm. But this is not good for this breakaway group because they are losing their impetus.
Well, if they play around like this, Paul, they're going to have a lot of problems, and we're catching up with the left rider here.
Well, this is Patrick Denut from the Lotto squad, who's a lap down. He really won't know what's going on at the moment. There's the bell lap now. Goccioli taking another drink. It's been really hot for these riders. Pours a bit of water over. They're all actually pouring water over their heads at the minute. It's all psychological with just 1 lap to go.
Well, the yellow jersey, I think, has slipped away from the shoulders of Goccioli because that gap has come down. It's a question now, though, as if anybody here can stay away now to win the stage, because, as I say, they've been away since Worcester. They had a lead at one stage of well in excess of 2 minutes, and now it is down to just 20 seconds. Lilholt is not far behind, but the group has split, and we understand, here is Lilholt now, we understand that Fondriest Jalabert and Phil Anderson are in a group behind Soren Lilholt. So here's the three leaders now. They're swinging up, they're lining up towards the finish here, Paul. The long straight, a very difficult sprint indeed.
It's a very difficult sprint to judge, and they're actually playing a lot of cat and mouse at the moment, which is bad. And well, there's Lawrence, there's Soren Lilholt. Where's he come from?
So Lilholt has caught them and jumped them, and really he had no choice here. If he'd have waited, they would have taken him. He had to go straight by, and the group behind is almost on as well. And look at this now as they go for Lilholt. The rider below us is lapped. This is the lead now, and we've got on the left Coccioli. Lilholt goes on the right. Anderson's coming up there too. Phil Anderson and Fondriest is almost on the tail of these riders. But look at this, the battle at the front. Taffy on the right, Coccioli, and right on the line. Taffy has got it. Two Italians first and second. Well, that's a little bit of history here. We've never seen that before in the Kelloggs Tour over 4 years. Andrea Taffy, and I'm not surprised he's smiling. He's the first ever Italian to win a stage of a Kelloggs Tour of Britain, and Taffy has done it so well. Let's have a look at this again now. Taffy, I saw him win 2 stages in the Tour of America in February. He's now won 1 here in Birmingham at the front. There's the result. Taffy, 5 hours, 8 minutes, 49 seconds. Coccioli and Steinman, his 2 breakaway companions. Fondriest given the same time at Lilholt in 4th and 5th place. So he survived, but you can't be closer than that. All 5 riders given the same time, despite the fact that the first 3 had led from Worcester. And a new leader tonight, Laurent Jalabert, who finished in that leading group, is the leader from Fondriest and Anderson. Malcolm Elliott has lost his lead, and it's gone to Jalabert. Here he is with Paul Sherwin.
Well, Malcolm, you're only 9 seconds behind Jalabert, and tomorrow you're going to Sheffield. It's your home territory. You know the roads very well. Will that inspire you? Will you try and take the jersey back?
Well, I think it'll be an advantage, you know, in knowing all the roads. And when I get to sort of Matlock, where I'll know all the roads there, but I know how hard they are as well, which I know it's going to be a really tough day tomorrow. And I don't know whether my climbing legs are going to be up to it. Jalabert is going very well, so is Robert Miller, so is Stephen Roach. They're all going very well, and I'm going to have a work cut out just to stay with them. But if I can get over the last climb out of Hathersage there, with that in the first group, because I'm sure it's going to be split all over the place, then it'd be wonderful to be able to descend into Sheffield and win the stage.
So a great sprint win in the end for Andrea Taffy, who also won 2 stages in the Tour of the America way back in February this year. The riders should have taken him seriously this morning in Cardiff Castle when he pulled on a Tony the Tiger head, because he certainly had the last laugh here in Birmingham today. Laurent Jalabert, the new leader of this race, always rides well in the Kelloggs. He rode here last year and finished 4th in the opening prologue time trial in Dundee. But this race still a battle of seconds. Now, those of you out on the course today may have noticed there was no Channel 4 car in the advance convoy. The reason? Somebody stole it last night from Cardiff. Now, it's not as if it's inconspicuous. It has a large Channel 4 on its roof. So if you see it, give us a ring. But from Birmingham now, we wish you all a very good night.